It seems that another week has gone by, which means it's time for another round of power rankings.
Are your Eagles clearly the best team in the NFL?
Absolutely. We're number one in the NFL.
We still have another 14 weeks of this remaining, plus playoffs. Here is how we see all 32 teams stacking up at the moment as we present our Week 5 edition of the 2022 NFL Power Rankings. Number 32, Houston Texans. Last time's ranking, 32. Absolutely nothing is going right for the Texans at all. Hence why they're the last winless team remaining heading into Week 5. Davis Mills looks nothing like the standout rookie from 2021, and he's given Houston every reason to start scouting quarterbacks for the 2023 draft. Number 31, Washington Commanders. Last time's ranking, 28. There is too much talent on both sides of the ball for the Commanders to be this bad. But I guess that's what you get when you put all your faith on a turnover-prone QB like Carson Wentz, who's up to 5 picks and 3 fumbles on the year. Wentz's struggles certainly aren't surprising, but the fact this defense looks even worse than last year's group is especially concerning. Number 30, New Orleans Saints. Last time's ranking, 26. The Saints could easily be 4-0, sure, but they could also easily be 0-4. Now, at the end of the day, good teams find ways to win close games, and so far, the Saints are finding ways to lose close games. Aside from the play of rookie wideout Chris Olave, it's been a lot of disappointment coming out of NOLA. Number 29, Carolina Panthers. Last time's ranking, 25. Another awful performance by the Carolina offense means that Matt Rule is on even thinner ice than before.
You're on thin ice, pal.
And trust us, the ice was already very thin to begin with. Number 28, Detroit Lions. Last time's ranking, 24. The Lions perfectly define the word chaos through 4 weeks. Allow us to present to you with this hilarious statistic. Hey, this is still year 2 of a major rebuild in Motor City. Hey, I mean, Detroit was never gonna seriously contend this year, so why not just celebrate the chaos of Dan Campbell's squad? Number 27, Las Vegas Raiders. Last time's ranking, 30. The Raiders pieced together a superb 60 minutes to defeat the Denver Broncos for their first win of 2022. Josh Jacobs powered the way with 144 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, while Devontae Adams racked up 9 receptions for 101 yards. Vegas' prolific offense finally played up to its potential. And with several other postseason contenders in the AFC struggling right out the gate, it's not too late for the Raiders to climb back into playoff contention. Number 26, Chicago Bears. Last time's ranking, 22. A loss to the Giants drops the Bears to 2-2, but trust us, this season's been a lot uglier than their record actually indicates. Justin Fields was held to 0 touchdown passes for the 3rd straight game. Tough to win in today's NFL when your offense relies entirely on your ground game. Will Matt Eberflus let Fields loose once and for all? I mean, what's there to lose at this point? Number 25, Pittsburgh Steelers. Last time's ranking, 23. The good news is Mitch Trubisky was finally benched in favor of Kenny Pickett, who energized the crowd with 2 rushing TDs. The bad news, however, is that he also threw 3 interceptions and the Steelers lost to the Jets. Still, it's pretty surprising to us that it took Mike Tomlin this long to put the rookie in. As far as we see it, there's no doubt as to who should start in Week 5. Number 24, New York Jets. Last time's ranking, 31. It was a dramatic season debut for Zach Wilson, that's for sure. The stat line wasn't pretty, a completion percentage of 50 with 252 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. But hey, a win's a win, and the Jets won't apologize for that. Wilson pieced together a magnificent drive at the end that ended with a Breece Hall rushing score in the final seconds. Gang Green won 4 games last year. They're already 2-2. All in all, that's pretty good considering they've only had their starting QB for 1 game. Number 23, Indianapolis Colts. Last time's ranking, 14. So the Colts are gonna do it again, huh? Trade for a veteran Pro Bowl quarterback and yet still find a way to underachieve and miss the postseason. We thought this team had things figured out last week when they beat up the Chiefs, but I guess not. They went and followed it up with a big-time stinker at home against the Titans. Matt Ryan has already thrown 5 picks and taken 15 sacks, and he's already fumbled 9 times. His career high is 12, by the way. And now Jonathan Taylor's dealing with an ankle injury. The vibes are definitely not good in Indy right now. Number 22, New England Patriots. Last time's ranking, 21. Bill Belichick is the last person that'll tell you about moral losses, but that truly was one of his best coaching performances ever. There's zero shame in losing to Aaron Rodgers, especially at Lambeau Field, and especially with a third-string QB. The Pats were oh so close to stunning the reigning MVP on his own turf, but Mason Crosby's 31-yard field goal sealed the deal for Green Bay in overtime. There is yet light at the end of the tunnel, though. Just look at New England's next 7 games. They're all very, very winnable. So this team could very well be 8-3 by Thanksgiving. Number 21, Atlanta Falcons. Last time's ranking, 27. It hasn't been pretty, but Arthur Smith's Falcons are back to 500 following a thrilling victory over the Cleveland Browns. Marcus Mariota's play has been uneven, however, and now they'll be without do-it-all weapon Cordarrelle Patterson for at least 4 games. Hey, big credit to the Falcons for avoiding the choke job and winning consecutive close games, but the real test begins in Week 5 with a showdown against Tampa Bay. Number 20, Seattle Seahawks. Last time's ranking, 29. It's a small sample size, but hey, who'd have thought that Geno Smith would be outplaying Russell Wilson through 4 weeks? I suppose it's a testament to Pete Carroll's excellent coaching, to say the very least. Now, the Lions aren't world beaters, but Seattle won't apologize for dropping 48 points in a road victory to get back to 500. Can they keep it going against the New Orleans Saints at the Superdome in Week 5? Number 19, Cleveland Browns. Last time's ranking, 17. A very uneven play from the Browns in Week 4 against Atlanta. Jacoby Brissett struggled mightily with go-to wideout Amari Cooper being shut down by A.J. Terrell. How do you put up 177 rushing yards and still lose? The good news is nobody in the AFC North is above 500, and all 4 teams have considerable flaws, so hey, not all hope is lost for Kevin Stefanski and company. Number 18, Jacksonville Jaguars. Last time's ranking, 11. The Jaguars came back to earth in a mistake-filled road loss to the Philadelphia Eagles at Doug Peterson's old stomping ground. Trevor Lawrence was sacked 4 times, and the offense committed 5 turnovers in a 29-21 loss. Now, despite all the mistakes, they only lost by 8 to the NFL's only remaining unbeaten team. These Jaguars are certainly a different team with Peterson, all right. Number 17, Arizona Cardinals. Last time's ranking, 20. It certainly wasn't a performance for Arizona's offense to be proud of, unless you're Hollywood Brown. But playing a mistake-filled team like Carolina will help you get back on track, and that's exactly what Arizona did. The Cardinals can show everyone that they're really back if they can manage to upset the Eagles at home in Week 5. Number 16, Denver Broncos. Last time's ranking, 10. This is one of the most frustrating 2-2 teams ever. Denver's offense put up a season-high 23 points, and yet they still lose because the lights-out defense failed to make plays in a 32-23 loss to the Raiders. The Broncos also lost second-year back Javonte Williams for the year with an ACL tear. And Denver doesn't have time to fret now, though, because they're on a short week with the Colts coming to town on Thursday. Number 15, New York Giants. Last time's ranking, 19. Beating the Bears isn't anything spectacular, but the old Giants would have found a way to lose that game. So this was a giant step forward for Brian Daboll's club. The passing game is still a mess, but hey, the defense and a healthy, rejuvenated version of Saquon Barkley was enough for New York to grind out tough wins, at least against mediocre opponents. Things are going to get tougher next week, though, when they travel to London for a showdown with Aaron Rodgers' Packers. Number 14, Tennessee Titans. Last time's ranking, 18. The sky was falling 2 weeks ago in Music City, but things can quickly change in the NFL. The Titans are back to 500 after a convincing road win in Indianapolis thanks to Derrick Henry's 114-yard game and a resilient D that forced 3 Colts turnovers. Though when the Jaguars lost to Philly, and the Titans suddenly look like the team to beat in the AFC South. Number 13, Los Angeles Rams. Last time's ranking, 6. The Rams have now been dominated by the Bills and Niners while winning close one-score games against the Falcons and Cardinals. Is it time to start worrying about the defending champs? They are clearly missing the likes of Robert Woods and Odell Beckham Jr. because Allen Robinson just ain't it. Looks like all those stories of his demise were not premature after all. Number 12, Los Angeles Chargers. Last time's ranking, 12. The Chargers looked like they were headed for another classic Chargers meltdown, but Herbert and Austin Eckler made sure it didn't happen with some late-game heroics to help the Bolts seal the victory against Houston. The Chargers have been hit by the injury bug, so they can't be too upset with a 2-2 record through 4 weeks. They'll always have a chance as long as Herbert is under center. Number 11, Dallas Cowboys. Last time's ranking, 13. Unbelievable. The Cowboys looked finished once Dak Prescott went down with a hand injury in Week 1, but the man, the myth, the legend, Cooper Rush did more than enough to lead Dallas to a 3rd straight win. Michael Gallup's return boosted the offense as he hauled in a 9-yard touchdown reception. But make no mistake, Dallas's win streak is mostly on the defense, which has yet to allow 20 points in a game. Simply incredible. Number 10, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last time's ranking, 8. The Bucs defense was a victim of Patrick Mahomes' wrath. Number 15 clearly didn't forget about that Super Bowl 55 loss. The new-look Chiefs O-line absolutely dominated Tampa's front seven, and Mahomes had his way picking apart the Bucs secondary. This is not the same team that won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. That is for sure. Number 9, Baltimore Ravens. Last time's ranking, 7. For the second time in 3 weeks, the Ravens coughed up a 3-score lead at home. This time, it was done at the hands of Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. The defense is supposed to be a strength, but it seems to be wasting an MVP-like year from Lamar Jackson. You can't win Super Bowls if you can't stop the opposing team's offense. Number 8, San Francisco 49ers. Last time's ranking, 15. Monday night's performance was good to see for Niners fans. Looks like Jimmy G just needed some time to get himself back in sync with this offense. They looked better, but let's face it, it's the defense that makes this team a legitimate threat to win the Super Bowl. We all know who Nick Bosa and Fred Warner are, but everyone better start getting familiar with the name Talanoa Hufanga.
And for Cooper Kupp. This one is juggled pick. There goes Hufanga. Hufanga, pick 6.
Number 7, Minnesota Vikings. Last time's ranking, 9. It wasn't pretty, and they were on the right side of some pretty horrendous officiating calls, but the Vikings will take a win any way they can get it. Justin Jefferson got the best of Marshawn Lattimore, and Greg Joseph's clutch kick propelled Minnesota to a 28-25 win in London. The Vikings were 1-3 through 4 games in both 2020 and 2021, so they've got to be pretty ecstatic about their 3-1 start this time around. Number 6, Cincinnati Bengals. Last time's ranking, 16. The Bengals narrowly held on for a tight Thursday night win over the previously undefeated Dolphins. Joe Burrow and the passing game are finally getting it going, and Lou Anarumo's defense is rebounding nicely after lackluster outings in weeks 1 and 2. The Super Bowl contenders we envisioned are finally playing up to that status. Number 5, Miami Dolphins. Last time's ranking, 2. Miami dropped a tough one in Cincinnati, but the main concern is the health of Tua Tagovailoa. Mike McDaniels ruled him out for Week 5 against the Jets, meaning Teddy Bridgewater gets the nod. Let's just hope that Tua makes a safe and speedy recovery, and that the Dolphins don't carelessly manage his health the way Washington did with Robert Griffin III. Number 4, Kansas City Chiefs. Last time's ranking, 5. The Chiefs waited 20 months to avenge their Super Bowl 55 loss to the Bucs. Well worth the wait. Patrick Mahomes toyed with Tampa's defense all night long, racking up 41 points and 417 yards against the league's number 1 ranked defense. Not half bad at all. Number 3, Green Bay Packers. Last time's ranking, 3. It shouldn't have taken a Mason Crosby field goal in overtime to beat a Patriots team that was down to their 3rd-string QB. But hey, the Packers will take it. Aaron Rodgers had his best performance in 2022, winning his 2nd of 3 career showdowns against the legendary Bill Belichick. Things are pointing up in Titletown. Number 2, Buffalo Bills. Last time's ranking, 4. A 17-point deficit on the road against a team with an MVP-caliber quarterback? Yeah, not a problem for Sean McDermott's Bills, who put up 20 unanswered points in a thrilling 23-20 comeback win. Buffalo showed the world again why they are a force to be reckoned with. Number 1, Philadelphia Eagles. Last time's ranking, 1. Championship teams win in all 3 phases, and that's exactly what the Eagles did against Jacksonville in Week 4. The prolific Philly offense had a few hiccups, but the defense saved the day by forcing 5 turnovers. Philadelphia is the last remaining unbeaten team through 4 weeks. They sit as the team to beat in the NFL as we kick off October. But what changes would you make to our Week 5 NFL Power Rankings? Join us in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.